What's going on, y'all? Today is a little different. Today, I am a part of someone else's podcast, a beautiful podcast called Zen Commuter. If you know anything about me, you know that I love Dharma and Zen and meditation and all that medicine, free medicine.
Many times when my students ask me, I'm like, I don't know if I'm meditating right. I'm like, okay, I get this one a lot. There is no right. It's just sitting. Whether your mind is flooded with thoughts, whether you are close to enlightenment or peace or what have you, it's like there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no good, they're bad.
And so today, I am being interviewed on Zen Commuter, and I wanted to share this really wonderful episode with you. I think you'll find some medicine here. I was grateful to be a part of it. All right, enjoy.
Well, Christopher, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm really excited for our talk today.
I'm grateful, yeah. How you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm very excited because as I was reading your article in Tricycle, I'm like, oh, that's an awesome article. I should reach out to this guy.
I'm grateful you did. Thank you.
Oh,
I
you got it.
love them. They've become, I was a reader for a very, very long time before I started writing for them, and it's been really nice.
I know sort of your meditation story about how it started. Obviously, we talked about that on Tricycle. But for listeners who haven't read your article on Tricycle or followed you, what is your meditation story about? How long have you been meditating for? Were you self-taught? Did you have a guide? And what brought you to the point of thinking, I'm like, yeah, I think I need to do some meditating?
Yeah, so I'll start it in years. So years it's been oh, it's a way to be like, oh, I'm so much older. 17 years. 17 years on Monday.
Oh, no. Wow. You've got it dialed in.
Yeah. Um, because it was so my birthday, so 17 years this coming Monday. And it was sort of how I write about it in the article. I met this woman in college who asked me if I meditated, and I was like deeply she could have asked me anything and I would have said yes. And I said yes. I had never meditated in my life. If you asked me to spell meditate, I would spell mediate. Uh, and we started dating, and I maintained this lie consistently for about a year. She would wake up early to meditate, and she would say, "You want to join me?" And I'd say, I got to go to class, or I'll do it later. Or she would be like, "Hey, I'm going to sit." And I'd be like, "I did that already. I got to do this thing." Just a weird, crazy lie to maintain. And I tried in that time. I went to the library. I got the Meditation for Dummies books. I did some Googling, and I did try, and it was terrible. It was really hard. And then on my 21st birthday, she bought me a plane ticket to Barry, Massachusetts, to go to IMS for Insight Meditation Society to attend a 7-day silent retreat. And she was going as well. And instead of being like, this is nuts or whatever, I said, that's awesome. What a great gift. And I went, and then and it was hard. It was like the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life, and it was all over the place. And I felt like a phony, like a liar, like I was exactly where I need to be. Real profound moments of peace, real profound moments of awakening, real pushback. All the things I think that we all feel. You
Right.
just took the time to sit with them. And since I left that place, I have meditated pretty much every single day since.
That is awesome. I would have thought well, I don't know if I'd say the exact opposite, but with such a um, shaky beginning, I should say, with the subterfuge and all that, I would have thought that I'm like, man, like diving all the way in, like, oh yeah, and then for a week did you say it was silent? A silent?
Silent, yeah.
Oh,
It was just at night they would do the Dharma talk. So that was like your respite. So sitting, walking, sitting, walking, sitting, walking. And it was so hard, but I think the moments of profound peace were so profound that they really left a kernel in me.
nice.
Uh, I often say, ever since then, I say, ignorance is bliss until you've tasted bliss, and then the rest is just ignorance.
Mm.
And And then that peace becomes in its own way, its own sort of addiction. You know, like you're like, oh, I know there is a place in me that is quiet and restful and not needy or graspy. And so then you're like, you're aiming for that, you know, and I think that has carried me for a long time.
Has that ever not carried you? Meaning that wanting to feel that transcendence, that peace, when you're not in that space becomes a source of suffering because you're attaching to that and not allowing things to be as they are in this moment.
Yes, yeah, yes, and I think that's part of it, right? Like you taste the thing that you like about something, and then you want that, but then that sort of takes you away from this place, from tasting this thing that's currently here,
Right.
uh, and I think that's the great dance, and that also is what I like about it that keeps me coming back to it. You know, I think it's the greatest free piece of technology that I think exists in the world for anything. Like I don't even like to talk about happiness in relation to it. I don't even really like to talk about peace in relation to it. I just think it's this free piece of technology, and I like to use the word technology because it feels advanced. Like
Without a doubt.
um, that can just bring us closer to ourselves.
Mm, I love that. Absolutely love that. I that is one lesson that I will probably learn, relearn, remember time and time again because I asked that question because I still struggle with that. There are times I talk about on Zen Commuter and with my students about my higher self and my human self. The higher self is the meditative self, the one that's connected to source. And even though we always are, our humanness kind of blankets that some days, some weeks, some months. And we're like, so there are times when I notice it. And because of my meditation practice, I notice and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was connected more to my higher self today. And then I'll meditate and then I'll get the remembrance to say, don't you tell people to be where they are? I'm like, yes, quiet. But yeah, I get that remembrance. And even over the times when it's the exact opposite, I'm in my, kind of that very chill space and I'm connected to my higher self. I'll have voices, words come say, this is nice, but it'll change and it'll change back. So just be with what is. So I'm glad to know that you too appreciate that dichotomy that we pretty much signed up for, obviously, when
It's
we were
also not really quantifiable. Like my wife this morning asked me, she sometimes asks me after I meditate, she says, "How was your sit?" And I respond often the way I respond to when people say, you know, I hate the question, "How are you?" Fine, how are you? Because it's more of a habit, it's more of like an itch than a real question. And how was your sit? It's never bad or good or so it's I often just say it was good, it was fine. Like because it's even when it's good, it's I try not to be like it was good because there's not a goal. Like
I love
I
that.
don't know that I could have accomplished a thing in that amount of time. And but that's what we live in. We live in a world that wants to quantify our experiences. How was your errand running? Was it
Right.
successful? Uh, yeah, like everything needs to have been a success.
And to that point, one of the things I love about my meditation practice is the ability to poke holes in or sit in societal beliefs that fit or don't fit with me. In regards to, it's like, oh, our society always says if you're starting anything, you're going to start as a beginner and then you'll just keep going and going and going until you're a professional, until you're a pro, until you're an expert. And with meditation, obviously, that isn't even close. But to your point, society's always saying there's a trajectory. Boop. And it's not like that. So many times when my students ask me, I'm like, I don't know if I'm meditating right. I'm like, okay, I get this one a lot. There is no right. It's just sitting. Whether your mind is flooded with thoughts, whether you are close to enlightenment or peace or what have you, it's like there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no good, they're bad. And to your point, I tell people, I'm like, does anybody ask you, how did you do taking a shower? I'm like, No, not really, because it's just something you do. It's nothing you are, you're like, oh yeah, no, I did the right order and I
That's
switched it
actually
up
really
or
funny.
so I'm like, so it's the same thing. Don't ask.
That's that's actually really good. Yeah, that is funny. We never say that. I'm like really I like that's a good one. I'm gonna borrow that.
It puts it in perspective for sure.
Yeah.
Well, when you were starting out, whether it be to impress a woman or not, you said you had challenges. What were some of the biggest challenges that you had when you were first starting to meditate?
Out the gate, I think just focus is one, right? Like without a doubt, it's a practice that requires a sense of focus. Uh, and and I think the muscle you're building up, like it's kind of amazing when you I tell this to I have a sitting community and I share that like there is a wall. I remember when my wall was 2 minutes,
Mm.
and then my wall was 5 minutes. Like and that wall is so interesting. Like is it self-built? Is it again focus? It's not really quantifiable. But focus was like one of the biggest challenges. Can I just sit here for a set amount of time? Which now I'm really like against set amount of time, which is a whole other
We'll
journey and
get to that probably
conversation.
today, next time.
But focus,
Right.
can I just focus? Which I think is the same as like, can I just read this book for 20 minutes
Hmm.
without looking at my phone? Can I just do a thing without looking at my phone? Yeah, please.
Well, I was just going to say, so obviously I know the answer now, but before you were meditating, were you an antsy guy that kind of led to that focus? Like, dude, I can't sit still because I get that obviously all the time from my students. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. I just can't sit still. I'm like, well, we'll talk about that. But in answer to my question, were you an antsy guy prior to meditating, meaning like I always got to be doing something or?
It's funny because I still think I'm antsy. Like I am a doer. I am a child of whatever is in my sort of karmic DNA or desires. Uh, I am a child who needs, I think meditation serves me so well because I feel like I need to do in order to know I'm enough. It's deeply tied into all of my work. It's deeply tied like I was not a kid operating from abundance, but of deficit. And by doing and accomplishing, I would prove my worth to myself.
Mm,
And so this is the great journey of my own life that meditation has brought me closer to. That sitting for me is actually a real abundant act, a real, I don't need to do anything or accomplish something or even talk to you about this to know I'm enough. Like, I just get to have that. And so I still feel antsy at times because I think that's where my antsiness came from.
mm.
Um, I need to do something. I need to make something. I need to prove something, show something. So, but yes, probably less antsy. I mean, I think what meditation has taught me to do is to see how the world sees me. That's a really good one. Like, I like when people interact with me and people are our mirrors, that's what they say.
They do.
And when people say you seem very present, and I go, okay, maybe I am more present than because we're hard on ourselves in our own brains and in our own bodies.
Right.
Um, and so I believe that, yeah, there was a me who was antsy then and maybe still antsy now, but probably significantly less.
Nice. Is it safe to say, and I'm sure it's always kind of roller coaster cyclical, that you have come to the point where you're like, oh, I'm totally enough. Or I'm like, you know what? I don't have to prove anything anymore. This is me. Take it or leave it. Are you at that place? Were you at, or is that come and go?
Oh, that's a real day to day, like you said, higher self, human self.
Right.
It's an absolute day to day, maybe a month, maybe a week. I have a friend, I have a piece of art somewhere in my house. It's hanging over there. And my friend said it, and she said to me, enlightenment happens in pockets. The
Love that.
space between those pockets can maybe get closer and closer to each other. Maybe.
Maybe.
And so we practice to just bring the pockets closer and closer to each other, where we can sustain higher self or heart self or whatever that language serves people
Right.
for longer periods of time or enough self. And so it's pockets. And I really like, I think for me, what meditation has always been about after focus is coming back.
Mm,
It's not about leaving, it's about coming home,
indeed.
returning. And to me, that is the journey of enoughness. Meditation allows me to say, like, oh, I'm operating from deficit. Come home.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Come
like
home.
that.
Yeah.
You would say that meditation helps you understand how people see you. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Has meditation helped you see you? Have there been moments, and I would imagine there would be, but has it helped you become more aware of all that you are, all that you possess today?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And when you let it, like, I think that's the other beautiful thing about the practice. You have to sort of let it do its work
Mm,
on you. It's incredible how difficult it is if you really get into it. Like, it's so difficult and not so simple. I mean, that's what Zen is, right? Like, it's how do I get enlightened? Like, chop wood, carry water. Like, just do the thing, clean your bowl, eat your food, clean your bowl over and over.
right.
Uh, and so when you let it, you can meet yourself.
And to your point, there's this a certain level of self-compassion. There's a certain level of understanding that there will be days where you learn a lot about yourself, and the other days you're kind of squirming on the seat, waiting. I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is happening today. And then you're like, once you extract that goal mentality, obviously, I always talk about expectations and intentions and the difference between the two. Expectations is it's got to go this way, it's got to be this way for this long. Intentions are like, this is what I hope to accomplish. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But there are times, obviously, even having meditated for over 40 years, where I sit and I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling a little tense right now. I'd love to be just chill. And I bring that expectation in there. And sometimes it happens, but most times when you bring an expectation, the exact opposite happens. So I'm like, okay, errant thought, back to breath. I got this. Cool. Nice. Nice. Errant thought, back to breath. And I'm like, this isn't working. I'm like, dude, relax. Does that resonate with you?
Oh, 100%. I I think the other what I like about that is who said this recently? Do you know Michael Stone?
The name sounds familiar.
He passed away a handful of years ago, and a great teacher in my opinion. And Michael used to say part of the other thing with meditation that's a real struggle is, do I focus on the breath? Do I focus on the space behind my eyes? Do I focus on my tummy? Do I focus on where my body is in space? Do I focus on my thoughts? Do I look at a candle? Do I do eyes closed? Do I do eyes open? Do I focus on like the tension in my hands? There's over probably 5,000 meditations. Do I focus on a mantra? And then we never actually get to sitting because we're thinking about the right thing to sit.
Right.
And and that even when we think we've chosen the breath, we haven't really chosen it with our whole heart. Because we're still lost in the illusion of getting it right.
Right. Right.
And so he says if you picked one thing, just one thing for your whole life, and that's why I often return to Thich Nhat Hanh's breathe and smile. Like that to me is so simple.
Yeah.
Just turn the corners of your mouth up and breathe.
I like
That's it.
that. Yep.
Breathe and smile. Like it's so simple. And if you chose one for 20 years, it would be enough. If you just looked at the candle, or you just swept, or you just breathed and smiled, but you don't have to jump around. Uh, and and so I think part of that returning is like trust that one thing is the whole world.
Yeah. And that you're like, much like I said earlier, that there is no wrong. You found
Yeah.
to sit. So whatever happens, happens. But you took the time. So it's fine. Well, we were talking about Tricycle, one of our favorite magazines before hopping on. what led you to, and for listeners, the reason Christopher's here is because for if you've been here for a while, then you know I read a couple of his articles on the air, and I read the last one. I'm like, oh, you know what? I got to get in touch with this guy. I really like that. So you've been writing for Tricycle for a while. Tell us about that journey. How did that start? Were you like, you know what? This is a cool magazine. I think I'll ask if they want me to write for them, or what was that journey like?
Yeah, I was avid reader. Uh, Obviously, I write. I have a couple of books in the world, and uh, but I my journey as an artist is one of bringing a great mentor, friend, director named Daniel Banks is said when I was working on a play. You get to bring the Dharma to the stage,
Hmm. Love that.
and so that has been my journey as an artist as the last 10 years. Like, how can I bring it's not like artist on the left and then meditator on the right, or desire of praise on the left and desire of solitude on the right. Like, these two get to make love to each other. These two are the same person.
Hmm.
Uh, they should know each other, not be in separate places. And so I, as a reader of Tricycle for many years now, I just didn't know how to write about Dharma yet. Like, well, I just hadn't done it. Maybe I didn't. I don't know that you know. Uh, and I wrote this chapter in my book that's based on the meditation one, and I was like getting closer to that. And so um, I just cold emailed Tricycle. To be transparent, I sent a lot of emails to anyone listening who's an artist. I send emails endlessly, okay, with respect. Like, I am graciously annoying. Uh,
I like that.
you know, and then finally he responded, and Daniel responded at Tricycle, and I was having a conversation, and that's it. And then one article turned into another, and then another turned into another, and then I have one coming out in this next issue,
Oh, nice.
and we have just built a nice working relationship.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
and I'm super grateful, and it's really made me a better part of writing for me is understanding. It's a meditation for me also.
Hmm.
The way meditation brings me closer to myself, so does my writing. I write about myself and my experience of the world. And now that I really get to do it in a sort of dharmic lens in what I believe is my style, which is really nice, like they let me stay true to myself, that I've just sort of evolved as an artist, this idea of bringing the Dharma to the stage. I'm getting closer to myself.
I think that's one of the things that really resonated with me in regards to reading your articles. They weren't dry. They were light. They were profound. They were real. So I'm sure that next issue will have the exact same thing, that same level of warmth, realness, and profundity. So keep up the great work. Really
It'll
like it.
be a The next one will be about storage units and the LA fires.
Oh, well, okay. I will love to see how this one's going to be woven. For sure. Well, what drove you to pick up your first issue of Tricycle in the first place? How long ago was it?
That's a really good question. I want to know if it was gifted to me or I don't know. That's a great question. But I remember being, a couple things blew me away. The art is killer.
Hmm.
They slay with the graphics and the art.
Yeah.
Oh, I know how I got to Tricycle.
Nice.
I was making a documentary about artists, and I stumbled upon this artist that was once a monk, and he would do these large scale portraits of homeless people in New York, unhoused, forgive me, of unhoused people in New York, really large, like on a scroll. We're talking like sidewalk length and size scrolls. And he would do these portraits. And I raised money to bring him out to Los Angeles to work with this organization on Skid Row. And in doing research, I think I stumbled upon Tricycle because they did an article about him. And I would say the rest is history.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I ended up subscribing and I was like, this is a great thing. And I love that they do, what is it, 4 a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually manageable. Like one a month is too much. 4 a year I can read.
It's so funny when the issue comes out for the season, I'm giddy, like we were talking about. I'm excited. I'm like, I wish this came out more. And to your point, I think I came to the same conclusion that I'm like, you know what? If it came out every month, there'd probably start to be a stack of them. I'm like, I got to get to those. I got to get to those. And it's just the right amount. And for me, I think for me, I had a guest on Zen Commuter that was a Buddhist. And this was, I'm not a Buddhist per se, but I aspire to many Buddhist principles. So I'm like, let me do a little bit more reading about Buddhism. And I just, like everybody does, I just typed into Google and tricycle came up. I'm like, went out online. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really cool. Like, this is Buddhism? This is awesome. And to your point, I signed up. And when I got my first, physical copy, same thing. I took it out, looked at the cover. I'm like, whoa, that is awesome. The art is it just blows me away every time.
Yeah,
For
they work
sure.
with great artists.
Yeah.
And
So,
everyone, I heard this somewhere and I've ascribed to it. Everyone is a like a Buddhist in drag. Like, because if Buddhism means anything, it means you would like to experience less harm,
hmm.
which means you would probably like to cause less harm. And you wouldn't mind being a little more peaceful in this harm process. And who doesn't want a little more peace in their life? And that to me is something that I think the practice, but also that community has engendered for me.
Hmm.
Like we're all just trying to have a little less harm to ourselves and to others.
And I love how you put that because it doesn't really, and I mean, I think when I think about religion or spirituality, I'm like, I think that's kind of just the bucket of every religion, hopefully, or every spirit, every aspect of spirituality. People just want to connect to source and just be loving and kind. However you get to it, whatever denomination you aspire to or lack of denomination you aspire to, you're absolutely right. Everybody wants to be less harmful, more loving, be loved. It's much like we were talking about earlier. It's kind of the humanness that gets in the way of that. And sometimes, if we have a sitting practice, we cut through that humanness every now and then and get to that place where we can understand how to be kinder to everybody, but not just to everybody, but to ourselves. And I think I've never had a challenge with being kind to myself, but I think I'm very thankful that every time I get off the cushion, even if it's a tough meditation, then I'm like, gosh, I'm so glad I found meditation. I'm glad it helped me realize who I am and what I bring to the world, and not from a narcissistic, arrogant point, because everybody does. I wish everybody had an awareness that they are, for one better word, divine or God. It's like, you know what? You're perfect. Whether you are differently abled, whether you feel like you are crap one day, and like you're perfect. Don't beat yourself up. Life's too short to beat yourself up. So that my meditation practice definitely helps with that. And one of the things that always helps me with too is, maybe this will resonate with you, is, and it fluctuates just like everything, is that in that stillness, in those profound moments of my meditation, I feel such connection to all life, not just human life, but all life. Sometimes I get off the cushion, I'm like, I just was connected to everything. And it's just, I can't even articulate it. I've tried many, many times on Zen Commuter with my students in conversations. I'm like, just sit, just go sit. You'll figure it out, hopefully. But do you have moments like that as well?
Yeah, I mean that's also one of those great when I talk about that piece on my first time, it's also that connection is the great juice of life, to not to not make it too much about Buddhism, but Buddhism is based on the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. So Buddha is like the potential to feel what you're talking about at all times,
Mm.
to love yourself, to love others because you know you are others, to like be deeply connected. The Sangha, and connection is the through line through all of this. The Sangha, which means community, like I cannot do anything alone. Literally, I can't even have an argument alone. Like I need you in order to be justified in my own feelings if we're fighting.
Mhm.
Like, so I should be thanking you instead of fighting you. Like, we need each other. And when we sit, we never sit alone. There's like whole universes of people sitting with us, um, through generations and through timelines. And I believe that. Uh, and then the Dharma, the teachings, again, not alone. They're communal teachings. They grow with each other and they feed off of each other. And so this idea of connection is a through line that I really love about the practice and about meditation. And I think when you meditate with others, you feel truly, I mean, it's actually quite amazing to walk into a space with a bunch of people who come in with their day and their day weighs on them, and then to watch them shed their day
Mhm.
after you sit. And so you have all been healed, nourished, lifted, and brought to peace together. And so in that you're more connected. The reason we're not always connected is because we carry so many layers of shit, excuse my French, on us.
That's okay.
We carry so much stuff on us, that we don't need. The illusions and the delusions. And meditation is like melting. It's like a melting process. It melts the stuff. And so when you melt the stuff, you realize you are other people. Not only do you need them, you are other people. And so that connection is so profound, and it is hard to describe, uh, but it's we have all felt it. Uh, I call it like the reference I always make is we have all fell in love, and falling in love is so profound because you think it's the other person,
Mm.
but it's you. Like you think they did that to you. They just reminded you the potential you have for love in you. Because when you first fall in love, before the stuff comes back on top of you, when you first fall in love, you're not just more generous to that person, you're more generous to everyone. You're more generous to yourself. Traffic is perfect. Like the birds are perfect. The sky is everything is perfect.
Right. Love that.
And then it melts and then it goes away because you have rent to do and then this and your calendar and all this stuff. Uh, but that's what I believe can actually happen in the practice of melting, of meditation, is you are like you can fall in love more and be in love more.
I love that. And I'm sure my listeners will probably get sick of me saying this, but one of my favorite places is the supermarket that I every day. And do I have to go every day? I'm like, no. If I had any modicum of like discipline, I'd go once a week and be done with it. But I think I don't go once a week because when I walk into the store, and it changes, but for the most part, when I walk in there, I just feel such love. There are times I go in there, I'm like, gotta get bacon, gotta get chicken, gotta get cheese, and I'm walking around. And the other times I just walk in and it's just like, I don't know, like I walked into heaven. I know that sounds pretty cheesy, but I'm like, wow, here all like everybody here is my family. Everybody here is just somebody I know and love. And I just
Mm,
walk around, no judgment. I'm just like, I'm patient, I'm kind, and I'm just smiling. I'm like, so I go there and I love that. And like I said, sometimes it's bacon and bread, but most times it's like, much like you said before, I'm like, I'm home. I'm like,
yeah.
so I'm with my people. So I love that. So I love how you put that, falling in love again, or remembering that you never stopped. I think that.
Yeah. Love is, I mean, that's like a Ram Dass thing that I picked up on and kind of have never left with is that power of love. It's such a easy it's such an easy word that no that we like deeply understand and don't understand and write a
Right.
billion poems about, and what we all desire and crave, but
Yeah.
it's already here.
And I mean, I loved how you put it too. It's just like the melting or the shedding of layers. It's like, yeah, that's all you got to do. And there are days where the layers pile on, pile on, pile on. You sit and you're like, okay, nice. There they go. Nice. Like I love how you put it. It's just like I'm home. And I love that. And it's amazing how our thoughts are just so transformative in the best of ways, in the worst of ways. There are times, and my meditation practice makes this very clear, and it's wonderful that it makes it so clear. And I'm so thankful for that. Is that in those human times when I'm getting wrapped up around like, this or that, or I'm like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. And eventually I come to either I come to my cushion or I just come to the realization it's like, dude, feel all that in your body? You made that because you chose thoughts and you can choose different thoughts. And my mom was wildly adamant about saying, sweetheart, you change your world with a thought. And she was always, I mean, when I was like six, ever
Hmm.
since I was six, and that was a while ago, she would say, don't get all bent out of shape. You can change your world with a thought. And
That's cool.
yeah, absolutely. So in those moments where I'm just kind of like human, I'm like, dude, you're creating stress. It's not that the world is doing it. It's not like the situations around you. You're adding a lens to this that is not serving to you. Let it go. And sometimes I'll be like, shut up. And other times I'll be like, yeah, you're right. And thanks for the reminder. That's why I'm human. That's why I've got this skin. I appreciate it. And I go back. And sometimes, much like I talk about all the time, is like, I get this message in my meditation all the time. You know that you sometimes you have to forget to remember. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So every time I'm wildly human, I'm like, I forgot. So nice, I get to remember again. So it's kind of how you look at things for sure.
Yeah, I like that. So simple. Good job, Mom. You change your world with a thought.
Yeah, she is slash was amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You change your world with a thought. It is simple, and that's what makes it profound. Like simple things are often profound.
Yeah.
Cliches are only, I always say, like cliches are only cliches because they're real.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely, absolutely. There's a grain, if not a huge silo of truth in all of them.
yeah.
Now, speaking of moms, dads, parents, caregivers, do the people that raised you, are they meditators? Did they have similar wisdoms? Did they have similar wisdoms that were bestowed upon you in a different way? What about your growing up? What was it like growing up for you?
Yeah, so I think everyone has wisdom, similar wisdom. Like the whole world has it, right? That's part of that connection. Some of us come to remembering quicker than others, uh, but we need each other. Like we're all walking each other home. Regarding my specific parenting, my dad once said to me, he said, I used to do that meditation stuff. And when I was foolish and naive, I would think, why did you stop? Because I thought maybe I was better than him, or it was better than him, or he should return to it, or as if he's done something wrong. Maybe I put it on a pedestal as if it's like better than anything else.
Right.
But it's not. It's just sort of it's one of the habits I choose in the world of many habits I can choose.
Yeah.
Uh, my mother is a woman who has danced around belief on and off for lifetimes. The power of belief. My mother actually taught me. I probably wouldn't be as interested in spirituality and meditation as I am if it weren't for the fact that my mother suffered from severe depression when I was young.
Mhm.
And one day, she used to describe literally seeing black and white. Like she would say, like, I can't see color. And one day, when she was walking home, she decided to walk into a church. And she started going to this church after work. And she started feeling better. And I never thought to myself that was God. I thought to myself, belief is incredible. Like, if we believe in a glass of water with our whole heart, that glass of water will heal us. The sugar pill is always more effective than the placebos wins usually 98% of the time over the actual drug because belief is
Massive.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, uh, and so my mom taught me about belief, and the power of belief. And they are big believers. They're big manifestors. They would never have named that, but my father had a vision board in his office before anyone said vision board out loud. You know, they were living the secret, but their version of it was like we were two poor kids, immigrants poor who want to give our kids everything we never had. And so they literally put up pictures of the things they wanted around the house and in my dad's office. That's manifesting. That's belief. That's literally watching these practices come into that's melting in a way. It's melting the stories about what you deserve or don't deserve or who you are. Uh, and so that's that's what I come from. Like they weren't sitting down crossing their legs, but they were deeply engaged in the world in a present way. Uh, and yeah, that's like my direct lineage.
Yeah, I mean, to your point and your mom's point, belief is just paramount. It literally creates realities,
Yeah.
absolutely, without a doubt. And my mom was the same way. And it's so funny because my dad was a mechanical engineer, and my mom was a building contractor. She used to make replicas of antique houses. We live here on the East Coast, and my mom was always a free thinker and always wise and always believe. And to your mom's point, to your parents' point, same thing. Uh, she's like, she's sweetheart. I always have what I need, and we'd go to the store and she wouldn't even reach into her purse. She'd reach into her pockets and she'd pull out like just a wad of like crumpled up fives and twenties and tens. And I'm like, Mom, why don't you organize that? She's like, I don't know where it comes from. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where it comes from? She's like, these are my magic pockets. She's like, they always provide me with whatever I want. I remember when I was 6, I'm like, okay. But we didn't have vision boards, and I actually kind of wish we did. But yeah, my parents were of the same mindset. And when I remember growing up, uh, not poor per se, but we were definitely lacking. And to know that my parents went from vacations where we'd all huddle into one hotel room on a vacation, never a plane. We'd get in a car and drive somewhere and go into one hotel room, get a bed for me because there'd be two queen size beds. So my brothers would be in one, my mom and dad would be in another, and I'd be on a cot. And I just remember my mom would get like the little cereal boxes and like powdered milk, and she'd get water from the sink, and she'd make milk, and we'd have cereal, and we thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, whoa, I wonder what poor people do right now. But they made every day just absolutely amazing. And obviously, even though my mom has left physical form, she still makes every day amazing. And my dad is still here, and he does as well. So it's wonderful to be able to see where we came from and also take the best of where we came from and expound upon that. My listeners have heard me say this time and time again. I'm like, when I started Zen Commuter, it was about a decade ago, 10 years ago. And I was just talking about positive living, ways to see life in a different way. And I was concerned that nobody's going to listen to me. I'm like, dude, you grew up in an affluent town with parents that loved you. And by the time I was on the air, I'm like, my parents were very well to do. And, but that's not where they started. I'm like, nobody's going to take you seriously because your life has never been anything other than awesome. But thankfully, in my meditations, I found out it's like, dude, nobody's life is awesome. It's got challenges. Like you've had people die, friends, family. You've lost jobs. You've got sick. So it's like how you see the world is what creates that world for you.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that I had that. And it was probably 3 years after Zen Commuter started that I'm like, you know what? Meditation is the thing that I always come back to, that I always go back to day in, day out wonderfully. And it's provided so much of a gift to my life. I'm like, I think it's time for Zen Commuter to just focus on that. And
Mm.
once again, fear said, like, dude, if you just zero in that hardcore, you're going to lose a lot of people. I'm like, and that didn't take long. One trip to the cushion, and I was like, relax. I never look back, and it's been a gift, especially when I get to meet people like yourself. So, uh, life works.
It is. I don't think I've said it out loud, like this melting term we talked about earlier,
Uh-huh.
but it really feels very present in the practice of acting out our true actions and true ways, listening, remembering, uh, melt as consistently as you can
Mm.
in order to be who you are. Like melt anything that isn't needed. Yeah.
And I think in response to that, one of the things I always think about is like, I don't think about it a lot because it's just part of who I am. It's like, what would my life be without breathing? It's like, what would life be without meditating? I'm like, how did I get here? And I remember when I was younger, I was actually, I went to Ithaca College for a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I wanted to be an actor. And I went and I studied. And I got sidetracked. And well, I say I got sidetracked. I never get sidetracked. I always end up where I'm supposed to be. But to that point,
You got right tracked.
yeah, I like that, and I will definitely steal that for sure. But yeah, if somebody told me when I was 18, I'm like, you know what? When you get older, you're gonna teach meditation, and that's what you'll do, and that's what you'll love. I'll be like, okay, I'm actually going to be on stage, or I'm actually going to be a magician, or I'm actually going to be a veterinarian. But meditation, I don't know what you're talking about. And obviously, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, this is absolutely what I'm supposed to do. Not a thought in my mind that this is how I change me. This is how I change the world. This is how I bring light to the world. And it's just so clear. And I love that for my meditation practice because even at 61, I'm just like, every day is just so new and it's awesome. And not every day is a walk in the park. That's my default. But there are days I'm like, just like I talked about with humanness, I'm like, I don't know. I got a lot of bills to pay. I'm like, oh, I got to go do this, got to go do that. And then I just stop and I look up at the sun, as Pollyannish as it may seem. And I'm just like, just relax, dude. Just relax.
I know we're talking about all this like higher self, but to just to make it human, it's I don't know if people have seen you physically, but I can't believe you're 61. If anything, meditate just so you can look like this at 61.
Well,
That's
thank you,
wild.
man.
Wow.
Clean
That's
living
a,
and meditation. That's what I tell people.
that's a trip. Wow.
Well, thanks, man. Yep. Well, stress, stress can beat the hell out of a body. So
Yeah.
definitely keeps the stress is abated by meditation for sure.
I call overthinking inflammation of the mind.
Mm.
Like, inflammation is the great killer. Stress creates inflammation, and inflammation is like what will tear down a body and most things. And I think a busy mind is an inflamed mind. And
Oh
so I
yeah.
like to sit to relax the inflammation. It's like putting an ice pack on the mind.
I like that. Absolutely, I like that. Well, one other thing I want to talk about briefly is your podcast and how it came to be. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Brown Enough is a book I wrote that is, I can happily say it's because I feel really cool about this. It is curriculum in high schools all around the country right now. So that has been
Shut
really,
the front door.
yeah,
Really?
it's been really special.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
that's what's happened over the last year. So I wrote this book, Brown Enough, and that book was optioned by Stitcher to be turned into a weekly podcast. And we just interview people who are doing. The only theme is that like really dope brown people doing amazing things in society and for the world. Uh, and I bought it back. I own it now. I bought it back from Stitcher after season one, and then we just did season two, and it was beautiful. And now we're working on season three, and that should be coming out. Well, no, it'll be come out in a while, but we'll start recording it. We'll
Slow
start
start.
we'll start recording in next month. But it's been really special because you host a podcast, and it's like nice to just chat with dope people.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I got your latest episode on my way to the supermarket, and I love the format. It's a lot like this. It's just like it's just talking with cool people about cool stuff. Uh,
Yeah, I just sit them down. That's it. Like, I love to get them in a studio. It's not always possible because people live in different places and timing. But when I can, we try to get in a studio together and just be in space. And that like seems to do all the work.
love that. Love that. Now, so how long has it been going? A year? A
Oh,
couple years?
2 years, 3 years, two and a half.
Nice.
We took a year off to for me to buy it back from Stitcher. That took a long time. So
Yeah.
it's been technically two full seasons, and 3 years in existence.
Well, Stitcher's not buying anything anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that.
I hope it didn't bankrupt him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Well, Christopher, we like to keep things under an hour. So we are going to say goodbye to listeners, but you and I are going to stay on the air. But before we do go, if you would let listeners know the best way to follow you and all the great things you're doing, how would they do that?
Yeah, there's a email list at my website, christopherrivas.com. Also, just I'm on the Instagrams and all the things, and Christopher double underscore Rivas, and I'm pretty Google and foundable. And I'll see you soon.
Awesome. Well, my friend, like I said, you stick around and thank you so much for our time today.
Thank you. And that's our time. I'll see you next week with another regularly scheduled program of Brown Enough. It's going to be a beautiful one. I cannot wait for you to hear it. Much love. Peace.